When was the last time you had some chocolate? A week ago? A day ago? A minute ago? Chances are it hasn't been long since then. There's nothing quite like chocolate when it comes to sweets. With its creamy, rich flavor and silky smooth texture, it is no wonder why we fall victim to its tempting invitations time after time again. In fact, worldwide chocolate consumption is expected to reach 7.7 million tons by 2018. That's a lot, even for me. For most of us, chocolate is associated with luxury and pleasure. Don't forget that the holiday season is coming up as well, and chocolate is known for being inseparable with festive treats. But looking beyond the commercial success and sensational flavors, can we look at chocolate from another perspective? In this video, we want to examine our favorite type of sweet through scientific, historical, and cultural lens. But mostly scientific, because the author of this script is biased. The moment you pop a piece of chocolate in your mouth, thousands of chemicals are released, firing millions of electrical signals to your brain, gifting you with a taste of heaven. These reactions laid the foundation for all the commercial success that chocolate has gained. So let's take a look at how this carefully engineered material works its magic. Cocoa beans, the seed which chocolate is made from, is actually so bitter that it's deemed to be inedible. So, to bring out its flavors, the cocoa beans undergo a process called fermentation, the first step of chocolate making. Fermentation is where bacteria feeds on carbohydrates in cocoa beans in a reaction known as anaerobic respiration. To do this, you basically suffocate the bacteria. The bacteria turns the carbohydrates into alcohol and subsequently acids, which kills the cocoa beans and conveniently the bacteria itself. By killing the beans, the walls around bean cells break, allowing chemicals to mix and react, creating those tasty flavors. If this seems vague to you, don't blame us. Good chocolate is extremely hard to make, as its flavor depends on so many factors during the fermentation process. Chocolate manufacturers tend to keep the recipe as a trade secret, so the details are often hidden from the public. The next step of making chocolate is roasting, or the process of popping the beans in a gigantic oven. This is where the carbs and proteins break down under the heat and release a bunch of flavors. Carbohydrates, more properly known as polysaccharides, are broken down into simpler forms that taste sweet, known as monosaccharides. Now that the chocolate is made, it's time to taste it. But again, let's look at it from a scientific point of view. You bite on a piece of chocolate. The chocolate is hard because the bonds between chocolate particles are holding tightly onto one another. Eventually, chocolate snaps into two pieces as the bonds in the crystals suddenly break. As soon as the chocolate enters your mouth, you may feel a tinge of coldness as the chocolate absorbs heat from your mouth. As the chocolate warms up, the chocolate molecules start to vibrate faster and faster. Eventually, the bonds between the particles start to break. This means that the chocolate melts, creating a wondrous solid drink instantly in your mouth. Once the chocolate has melted, some of it will start to evaporate into the nasal cavity, or basically your nose. The molecules lock onto receptors inside your nose, stimulating the release of electrical signals to the brain, creating the sensation of flavor. The next time you eat chocolate, try to picture all these complex processes taking place, and how such seemingly lifeless and mechanical reactions can come together and create such a taste that seems to be too wonderful to be described by cold, hard science. Now that we've gone molecular on chocolate, let's zoom out a bit to see chocolate's role in society. The creator of chocolate near 4,000 years ago were looking to invent a ceremonial drink made from pure melted chocolate, but instead they found that the solid form of the drink, which only liquefies once it enters the mouth, was way more popular. After thousands of years of culinary and engineering effort, we have chocolate as we know it today. There is a dark side to everything glamorous, and chocolate is no exception. Cocoa beans are grown in tropical climates. More notably, 70% of cocoa beans in the world are supplied by West Africa. As the chocolate industry expands, so is the demand for cheap labor. Children in West Africa are plagued by poverty, and many are forced into working at cocoa beans from ages as young as 5 years old to support their families. For us, chocolate may be a luxury, but for some others, it is a trade they forfeited their whole lives to, slaving away under austere conditions for $2 a day, an income below the poverty line. It might not occur to you that this applies to not just chocolate, but countless other commercial products. The aim of this video is not to tell you everything about chocolate, but to show how everything is inevitably connected. Whether it's chocolate or any other substance, it's always intriguing to look into how it interacts with the big picture, how the molecular world intertwines with nearly every aspect of society. As a very fortunate person with access to chocolate, we hope you realize there's much more to chocolate than it appears to be, from its long history to its place in our society today to the actions we can take to make the manufacturing process of chocolate more ethical. We hope you will be able to use the same analytical lens we use to view chocolate to see everything else in the world.